I think that there is, of course, a difference of opinion, and the G7 countries are very critical of Russia, but other big powers, as you say, are much more cautious in criticizing Russia because they have their own interests at stake, such as the purchase of oil in the case of India, cooperation in other issues, and OPEC cooperation in the case of Saudi Arabia, and of course a number of other issues. But I would say that if you look at the G20 summit, Russia was more isolated than it has ever been, because the summit clearly said that most G20 countries condemn the war. That's a very important statement, and it was allegedly introduced by India, which is, of course, a friend of Russia in many respects, a partner of Russia, and yet they are still willing to engage in this public condemnation of the war at the G20 summit. And even China is willing to sign on to such a summit. I think that's a very interesting signal that they are sending. Now, of course, they're not going to join sanctions on Russia. They're not going to provide arms to Ukraine. They're still going to continue to buy Russian oil. So this is a symbolic condemnation, and it has limits. But I think it shows us that Russia actually does not have all that many friends and partners. And to give you an example of this, China might say some friendly things to Russia, but is it providing ammunition when Russia desperately needs ammunition? No. The Russians are having to look to the North Koreans. And so overall, I would say that Russia is in a fairly a friendless place right now in this conflict.